Hello, it's Erin Kerry. Welcome back to Sparking Wholeness. Today, I want to talk about something that's been on my heart lately, personally, professionally, as a health coach, as a human, and that is the fact that we are halfway through the year, which is crazy. And many of us, myself included, kind of get thrown off this time of year, maybe stuck into some, I'm not going to call them bad habits, but maybe some old friends, as I say in my book, Live Beyond Your Label, that maybe some old types of conveniences, convenient options that get us through when we're tired, when we're drained, when we're bored. And so, with that in mind, I think I just interrupted myself there. Probably. I have notes in front of me, but I'm not like reading from a transcript because I just want to keep things real. So, yeah, summer's flying by. With that being said, summer's flying by. That's what I'm trying to say. Summer is flying by. School supplies are already out, depending on where you live and what time of year school starts for you. But before we know it, we're going to be talking about our fall schedules, which are crazy because we're always busy, right? And then we're going to be talking about the holidays. And then we're going to be preparing for the new year and whatever our next New Year's resolution or word of the year or whatever it is that comes from there. So, if you're like me, this time of year can bring a strange mix of emotions where it's like we really want to enjoy our summer. I know I do. I want to enjoy the sunshine. I want to enjoy the time outside playing in the pool with my kids, or rather, I guess at this stage, watching my kids play in the pool. And I'm excited that we still have summer left. However, I personally have been stuck in some summer habits because my schedule is just not what it is throughout the rest of the year. And so if you're like me, maybe your schedule is off. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're just in a really busy season, or you were in a busy season and you haven't quite felt like you could keep up. And you haven't been able to keep up since, right? Maybe you set some goals for January and maybe you did really, really well for the first part of the year. Summer hit and you got thrown off. I mean, this is real life stuff. Maybe you've just been surviving because things happen, diagnoses happen, kids' health issues happen, marriage stuff happens, things happen, perimenopause happens. So maybe you've just been in survival mode, and that's okay too. If that's you, whatever category you fit into, I just want to share with you that you don't need some massive, huge reset or restart in your life in January. You don't need a new year. You don't even need a Monday. You don't need a huge reset. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more discipline. You might just need a moment to pause, take a breather, and add in some tools that can help you to feel more regulated mind, body, and spirit. So that is why I created something new this year called the Midsummer Reset. In the past, I think I've done a podcast episode before about what I've done in the summer, midway through the summer, to get myself going again, because this is a theme for me. This is something that I experience pretty much at some point every summer. I love the summer. I love reading. I love just sitting around doing nothing. And that can turn into doom scrolling, which can turn into snacking on all of my favorite flavored chips and ignoring the things that I need to do, etc. Right? Okay, so we don't need to go any more into that. I've already explained to you what my habits can turn into. So before I tell you about this midsummer reset, because I'm me, because I like to get into the why of things and the how of things, I want to talk about why we get stuck. Why somebody like me, who I'm a pretty goal driven person, high energy person, why I would get stuck in the summer. Why you feel like you might be stuck this summer. I want to talk about the problem with this all or nothing thinking that we set ourselves up for many times. And then I want to cover 5 foundations that I want us to walk through together for 14 days. You ready for this? First off, let's talk about why we get stuck. One thing I've learned being a mental illness survivor, and also a functional medicine practitioner and health coach is that as I've walked through my own anxiety, depression, trauma recovery, and healing, I realized that the things that hold me back, or the things that I feel like hold me back, it has nothing to do with the fact that I am being lazy or those things are too hard, right? I feel like I fail when I get overwhelmed. This is a theme in my life. My husband can tell you this. Just going back for like I'll be married 17 years this summer. And for the 17 years of our marriage, I have periods of my life where I tell him I feel like I'm doing all things and I'm not doing one thing well. This is a theme. And I think what's really tricky about that is the question of, why do I believe that I have to do everything well? Why do I believe that I have to do everything all at once? Some of this is cultural. I do believe that some of this is spiritual. Some of this is just what has been ingrained for many of us in our family of origin, and for many of us in our youth and growing up, no matter what generation you're in. We hear all of these messages that we should, you know what I say about should, stop shoulding all over yourself. But we hear that we need to be doing all these things, such as drink more water, cut out sugar, start exercising, read your Bible every day, get up earlier, have a miracle morning, right? Take your supplements, meditate, journal, meal prep, track your macros, fix your hormones, heal your gut, sleep 8 hours, etc., etc., etc. And somehow we need to be able to do all of this while we are working real jobs, parenting, caregiving, serving, managing everyday stress, maybe managing a chronic illness. And so we quit. We feel like we can't do it all because we set ourselves up with these really high expectations. And this is something that I have done to myself over and over again throughout my life, and I still do it. And it's okay. Like, I'm just used to it now. I'm going to be an overachiever. That's just who I am. I'm okay with that as long as I have realistic expectations for what that means. The constant pressure and negativity with ourselves creates inflammation in the body. I write about this in my book. You can look it up. But negative self-talk is terrible for your gut health. It's terrible for your immune system. It's terrible if you're wanting to decrease inflammation. The constant shoulds, the constant negativity, the constant pressure that you put on yourself, that I put on myself, it does not support healing the body in any way. Because about the nervous system. We've talked about the nervous system a lot on this podcast. Your nervous system responds to your own internal overwhelm the same way that it responds to other threats. It's going to shut down. It's going to seek distractions. It's going to avoid. It's going to procrastinate or seek comfort from familiarity, because that feels soothing to the nervous system, right? Your nervous system is going to look at your overwhelm that you've put on yourself the same way that it would look at overwhelm that anybody else puts on you. And that's why I take a different approach to coaching in general. And I really want to make sure, before I ask someone to make changes, I want to ask, does this feel like that feeling you get inside? Does this feel too stressful for you? If it feels too stressful for you, it's going to create a negative response in your body. And it might not be as beneficial as if you were, just doing the old things that you were doing, not making any changes, but learning to heal that head talk first. So that's where everybody is so different. Everybody is in a different place, and there's no one size fits all. But I do want to encourage you that whether it's this getting out of habits this summer, or whether it's just falling off the track of all these other habits that you instilled throughout the first part of 2026, it's not a willpower or discipline issue. It could just be an issue of overwhelm, of your nervous system getting stuck, your nervous system feeling threatened, and you're into survival mode as a result of that. I want to encourage you with a few things. Let me share some helpful information for you, or a helpful reminder that maybe you need to hear. One thing that I see throughout Scripture is that God works through our overwhelm. He works in the middle of the overwhelm. He works in spite of the fact that we get overwhelmed. He works whether we're working or not, right? And sometimes we just need to get into those simple daily practices that create consistency for ourselves, because consistency can be healing for the nervous system. Just little things. I'm going to share with you, before I get into these little things that are helpful, what happens when we get into all or nothing thinking? And that can really hold us back. And I don't want, if you are thinking about like you're ready for a reset, you want to join my midsummer reset, I don't want you to get trapped into this all or nothing thinking. Because many of us, we don't mean to, but we live in this all or nothing thinking. I am right there. These are statements that are just like, if I can't do everything, I do nothing. If I miss one workout, I quit. If I can't work out for 45 minutes straight, it's not worth it. I've heard that in my office a lot of times. It's like, well, if I can't just go to the gym for an hour, I might as well not be doing anything. Well, you can take a walk around your house, outside, around the block for 10 minutes. You can do something and it doesn't not count. Any kind of movement is movement, right? That's what I try to encourage people in my book. And that's what I try to encourage my clients. It doesn't have to look like an intense exercise. There are other all or nothing statements like if I eat one unhealthy meal, the whole day is ruined. And now I'm just going to go crazy the rest of the day or the rest of the week or the rest of the weekend. If I miss a few days reading my Bible, I feel guilty. So I might as well stop because now I'm in the shame box and I don't want to approach God when he knows that I would much rather be scrolling my phone in the morning than spending time with him. That's real life. Growth, any kind of growth that you are working towards, whether it's healing your nervous system, healing your body, reversing your illness, your diagnosis, or your negative self-talk, it isn't built through perfecting something. It's built through repeating something. Growth is really built on tiny choices repeated over time to create transformation. And the reason that I even have this podcast called Sparking Wholeness, right, is that I believe that it takes one tiny spark to generate wholeness, to create that reconnection of mind, body, and spirit. I didn't come to understand all of these things that I talk about and these things that I'm passionate about with functional medicine and integrative health and all of that because I just heard this 45-minute podcast episode and then all of a sudden, yeah, boom, I'm changed. No, I started learning about it little by little over time. I started implementing some things in my own life through the lives of my kids, through some health issues that my youngest was going through. That was a big transformative moment that I don't have time to get into. It was just helping to heal his restrictive airway disease, put me on a mission to support our whole family's well-being. And now it has become a ripple effect of these tiny choices, these tiny little sparks of ideas that I had that caused me to feel better and more whole, more complete mind, body, and spirit than I ever had in my entire life. And yeah, I'm in the middle of perimenopause right now. It's not fun. It's not my favorite thing to go through. I do feel like every month there are different symptoms, but overall, my husband can attest to this. My oldest child can probably attest to this. I am healthier than I've ever been emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And he would even say, he shared with me recently that he feels like my spiritual growth is something he's really noticed within the last few years as I've just kind of dug my heels in with my faith. And even as I've come to understand how the human body works, how God designed our nervous systems and how God designed us integrated mind, body, and spirit, it has completely transformed me. But it's because of these tiny little things that I've learned, these tiny little changes that I've made, these tiny little choices that I choose throughout my day, throughout my week. That is what's created the biggest impact. So I want to talk to you about the 5 foundations that we're going to cover in this midsummer reset. It is so simple. It is not rocket science. But when I started thinking about what me being people, actually need right now, I don't want something complicated. I don't think you want anything complicated. I know what happens when I give people recipes and meal plans that are complicated. You don't do them. I know this. I don't do them. So I want to focus on 5 simple foundations. They're not trendy, they're not fancy, but they work. Okay. So the 5 foundations. Number 1, we're going to be spending for 14 days, we're going to be spending intentional time with God every day. Ideally in the morning. I just think that it's a refreshing way to wake up and get your day going. But realistically, that doesn't always happen either, right? So spending time with God at any point that is beneficial for you is going to be beneficial. This is not to check a box. I mean, we are doing a reset, so there's kind of going to be a box to check when you get the reset guide, but not for this is not to check a box, okay? This is because we need him in our lives. We need his word, we need his truth. That's how we're going to rewire our brains and rewire that negative self-talk. So that's the first thing. And it's our primary nourishment, spending time with God, your primary nourishment. That's going to be number one. The second thing that we're going to incorporate into this reset is hydration and movement. Daily hydration, daily movement. I put them together because they do kind of go together. When you're moving more, you're drinking more water. It's just naturally what happens. But you would be so amazed by how many symptoms people attribute to aging or stress or hormones or lack of motivation when really they're just dehydrated and their bodies need to move because they're too sedentary. So we're going to talk about that during the reset. The third foundation, so we already said time with God, hydration, movement, that's 1 and 2. The third foundation that we're going to focus on is, okay, maybe this is a little bit trendy, but it really is helpful, and that is protein. Protein does more than just supporting your muscle health and your hormone balance and your energy and your tissue and all of that. Protein supports your nervous system because protein supports your blood sugar stability. If your body doesn't feel safe physiologically, then your nervous system is going to continue to be in survival mode, in that fight, flight, freeze mode. Protein also helps to support neurotransmitter production because the amino acids that we get from protein and protein rich foods also have a lot of B vitamins, but those B vitamins and amino acids are crucial for forming neurotransmitters. You're not going to make them without them. So that's the third thing is protein. The fourth thing, again, I put two things in one category, but it's the basics, fruits and veggies. Not because they're magical, not because I'm going to tell you exactly how many servings, what color and serving size, and is it a palm size amount or is it a thumb amount or whatever it is that people do. But these are just things that we need, nutrients we need that help with fiber, which is going to feed your gut microbiome, antioxidants to help you to detox from all the things that we're exposed to throughout the day, throughout the week. And the fruits and veggies that you consume are going to help you feel better. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be focused on serving sizes, but I'm going to be focused on how and when you get your fruits and veggies, which I will specify in the reset guide. The fifth thing that I think is foundational is you get to choose. I think that's so important. If you're a survivor of trauma, most of us are, but if you are a trauma survivor, the fact that you have choice to do something to care for your body is healing. Trauma removes choice. Traumatic events, adverse experiences remove choice. So for you to be able to do something for yourself that creates safety, that creates support, yeah, maybe is a little bit hard, that maybe is challenging, but it's a challenge that you choose, that is healing. So you are going to get to choose to remove one thing, just one thing. Not 20 things that you feel like you need to change, just one thing. So that could be soda. It could be a coffee drink that you love every day. It could be negative self-talk. It could be doom scrolling. It could be alcohol. That's a really big one. It could just be giving up comparison to people online. Whew, that's a tough one, right? This goal, again, is not to punish you. It's not to cause restriction, but it's to give yourself a challenge that you choose. I think that that is so empowering if you are a trauma survivor. The goal here is stewardship. God has given you one vessel to live out your God-given purpose in Him. You might not like what that vessel looks like. You might not like how fat is distributed in that vessel or what your shape is showing up like right now in midlife. You might not like the symptoms that you're experiencing in that vessel, but it is your vessel. You get one. You can do everything you can to spend thousands of dollars to change it. It's still the same vessel at the root. And so one of the things that you have a gift that you've been given with this vessel. And one of the things that you get to do is choose, again, we're going back to choice here, choose how you steward it and choose what you can do to support your vessel, to come alongside of it, to be your own best advocate. And that in itself brings healing as well. You are partnering. You're not punishing. Your body, I've said this before, your body is a temple, not a remodeling project, not something you need to fix. Your body is a gift to steward. Okay? I think for so many women, I'm one of them too. I'm preaching to myself here, but so many women, especially in midlife, we've spent years feeling like we're trying to fix something. We're fixing our weight, we're fixing our hormones, we're fixing our anxiety, we're fixing our productivity, we're fixing our social media page, we're fixing our parenting, we're fixing our meal prep, we're fix all of that. It becomes exhausting. And so this midsummer reset is a way not to fix yourself, but to partner with yourself to create some consistent rhythms and habits, to give yourself some breathing space to really do the things that you want to do and to have the energy to do it. So these are the basic practices that help you to care for your mind, body, and spirit that God gave you, holistically interconnected. And like I said, we're going to be focusing on connecting with God. We're going to be focusing on hydration and movement, protein, fruits and veggies. We're going to focus on, what am I missing? I just said it. We're also going to be focused on taking something out. Sorry, that was the last thing. Focusing on taking something out, whatever it is that you choose, because you have the choice. I'm saying that again. Sometimes that's exactly what we need, is just a few basic things. So if you are in a season where you're feeling disconnected, overwhelmed, stuck, discouraged, or you just want to have a fresh start this summer, I would love for you to join me. What I'm going to be doing throughout these 14 days is I'm going to give you a downloadable guide that you can reference to check in with yourself every single day. And I'm going to provide you with a short encouragement through email. And that's going to be an action step, a scripture, a reminder, maybe a reflection question for each day of those 14 days. So think about it as free health coaching. I am just going to be your health coach in your inbox for completely free, which might take some work on my part, but I'm up to the challenge. I am revamping some things for myself professionally. This is a little bit of an experiment. I would love for you to join me because I just want to see how this goes. I want to see if it's something that you're interested in. I want to see if I can get people on board. I spend a lot of time one-on-one coaching. I used to do more group coaching. I'm kind of thinking a little bit more about doing some group coaching or course creation, things like that. But we're going to start here. And so I would love for you to join me, be a guinea pig for this free reset. 14 days. You can go all in or you can go partially in. That's the thing about all or nothing thinking. We don't have to do that, right? So it's not all or nothing. You can be all or halfway or all of quarter of the way or all of 3/4 of the way, right? So just these small daily steps can really make a meaningful difference in your life. So you can find the link in the show notes to sign up for this. I will be posting about this on social media, so you'll be able to see it there too. But remember these words: you don't need a new year to begin again. You don't need a Monday. You don't even need me. You don't need perfect circumstances. You just might need a couple steps in the right direction. And I want to help provide you with those couple steps that's going to help you get through these midsummer days to finish out the summer months is what I'm trying to say. So maybe today is just your invitation to start something new, to begin again, or maybe you're thinking about health coaching with me and you're not really quite ready for that. You don't have the budget for that. Here is your opportunity. So just to do something for free. And I love offering a lot of free stuff. This is why I have the podcast. So here's your invitation. And I would love for you to join me. You can find, like I said, you can find more information about this in the show notes. And I hope that you have a wonderful week, a wonderful rest of your summer, wherever you are. And I hope to hear from you. And I hope to be with you again soon for another exciting, fun podcast episode.